Last week, I said we were scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of things that we could talk about, and you guys came up with some great suggestions, both in the Discord and beneath last week's video. So we're jumping into one of those that I thought was really interesting. Glad that it won on the poll, and I think that it actually fits really, really well with what we did last week. So, welcome back to Hytale Lore. If you do not know, we stream these live on twitch.tv. If you're watching this on YouTube, we stream them on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. PST. We're in our new lore world. If you didn't catch this last time, we have created a new world here. Actually, wait, I want to see if we can change the weather again, because I kind of liked that. We've got a new lore world, right? So here's where we were last time, Wind People. And we've got all the underwater stuff laid out for us right here as well. I really think that these are great things to put back to back, because when you look at all the underwater structures, they're only really made out of one singular material, and that's sandstone. And that better not be because they're just on the bottom of the ocean and the bottom of the ocean's made out of sand. If that's the logic behind this, I'll lose my mind. I think it makes sense if this is like, you know, some sort of connection to the people who live in the actual sandstone buildings, right? And that part of their civilization sank. Or maybe there were two civilizations that both lived in a desert. I think this is probably entirely coincidental, but the first time I ever saw these ruins, it was off the coast of Zone 2. Imagine you can find them off the coast of any zone, realistically. But I do think that's kind of interesting. Anyway, these are all of the underwater ruins. Here's all the buildings that we have, and then we have a tower over here, and then this right here is called the capital. They do look like Atlantis, though, yes. Big Atlantis vibes. Big Atlantis vibes. And while I do think it's kind of cool that, like, you know, they're both sandstone, it kind of looks like that they could have come from the same culture. I do think that the underwater ruins are the perfect place to throw in these blocks that we have right here, the aqua. Because if we look in here, let's just look up aqua. There's a lot of them. We have all of these different types of aqua blocks. Makes sense that we would eventually get underwater ruins that are made out of these materials. As far as I know, there's nothing in the game that currently uses these. These are just creative mode at the moment. Stop soggying me. Anyways, would love to see that be a thing in the future. There's like a tower over here. Over here. There's a tower over here. There's nothing inside of it. It's completely empty. But it does have these ocean bricks on the bottom. And it has this clay stuff at the top. Would love to see the aqua bricks using something like this in the future as well. You're the one who wanted everyone to be... I said soggy. I said soggy, not moist. Oh my god. We do know some things for certain that are going to come to the whole underwater experience in the game in the future. There is some concept art that exists for it. However, we know that a lot of concept art is outdated, but there is one in particular that is probably still going to be in effect here. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll pop something up on the screen. But for those of you here on Twitch, I'm sorry, you just have to imagine it. Or go look for it. I don't know if you guys have the, there's a showroom link that has like every single piece of concept art ever created for the game, ever posted online at least for the game. What I'm talking about is the Kraken art, because they said on Twitter months ago now that they do want to bring the Kraken into the game eventually. They just need better mechanics for it, basically, which is going to be absolutely awesome. Would love to see boats that actually move, if that's the case too. I would love to see like actual ships, not boats like the boat blocks that we have that are also currently broken, but like ships that move across the water, because we have... Let's plop ourselves down here next to some of these shipwrecks. Are these the NPCs? They are, because they're animated. We have the pirate skeletons. We got pirate captain, pirate gunner. We have pirate striker. I think that's all of them. It is all of them. So we have these few little pirate people. Pulled the image on the phone. The Kraken looks epic. I think there's a couple concept art pieces that have the Kraken inside of it. There's a couple of them. And I need that. Listen, that's gonna be so cool. I need to live out my, like, pirates adventure fantasy, okay? But anyhow, there's a few interesting things here. In terms of, like, who has explored the seas, what cultures have been in the seas, what cultures produce the ruins, all that sort of thing. So first off, the pirates here do, as far as I can tell, also have access to gunpowder. I think the only other civilization in the game that we've actually seen consciously use gunpowder would be the skeletons inside of Zone 4. Burnt alchemist? Burnt gunner. Yes. Both have the same style of gun, if I'm not mistaken, too. This one's just a little rustier. Yeah, no, it's the same exact style. Could be there's a relationship there. Or maybe the pirate people are, like, they robbed them, right? They're pirates. They stole stuff from that civilization. Really don't know what way they're going to cut it right now. If they belong to a specific civilization, or if that's just coincidental, or if they did rob people, if they stole these materials. But either way, pirates, shipwrecks, would love to see them actually, like, fleshed out and dynamic in the future, sailing the seas and, you know, getting attacked by a kraken. So, we know, Kraken material coming in the future, fleshing out of the pirates and those skeletons coming in the future, all really, really awesome stuff to see. Which leaves us here in these ruins. Now, you guys let me know if you have a different theory, but right now mine is pretty cut and dry, and that is simply these little underwater ruins, this underwater situation that we have going on right now, is an offshoot of the people that lived in Zone 2. Fleshing out the skeletons. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But no, it really does look like an offshoot of these people over here. I mean, even like the little shape of these towers over here looks similar to this. The only thing that's kind of throwing me here a little bit is this structure over here. Inside of the game, this is called the Capital, I believe. Yeah, Ocean Capital. It has a resemblance, just the architecture here, the sort of dome situation, the ruined dome situation that's going on here, that looks very, very Zone 4. I don't know the names of these structures off the top of my head. I don't know how to go find them, but there's a few structures that look like a coliseum, or that have like these giant towers that have those sorts of circular, domed, colonnaded sort of architecture to them. Does not look Zone 2 at all. This is a very Zone 4 sort of situation. So that's kind of thrown my theory ever so slightly. I still think it's the same group of people. I think this is old wind people. Their structures have been around long enough that they sunk beneath the sand over here. So they've been around long enough that they sunk beneath the oceans over here. The only other really interesting Zone 4 theory that I could come up with in correlation to this is the fact that, if you did not know, when a supervolcano goes off, which is presumably something along the lines of what happened over in Crucible, it changes the topography of the landscape nearby. Meaning that it's not just like, oh, the volcano goes off and stuff like blows up, or like, you know, molten lava adds to the surface of the earth. No, because there's a huge pressure change that happens, right? When all of that stuff is unloaded beneath the earth, and that part of the earth depresses. It falls back down after all that is released. And so that can legitimately sink and raise different portions of the landscape nearby. Which could be a really, really cool explanation as to why there's a whole civilization that ended up underwater. Something in the world exploded, that part of it got absolutely ruined, and another part of the world just completely sank. We do get... Let's drop back here over our little gunner skeletons. Hey, you guys. We do have a civilization that looks like it's going to end up in the water. Don't think these are going to be in the underwater ruins. However, I think it's fair to bring up here. We got these guys. The Tullux. There's another one as well. I think it's just in models. And it has no eyeballs. Yeah. So we do have the Tullux right here. I'm gonna guess these guys have absolutely nothing to do with those ruins that we have off to the side. I'm gonna guess that these are just coastal people that probably live in Zone 3. I mean, they look like they're very Inuit inspired, so it would make sense for them to be on a sort of icy tundra coast. Like an actual walrus would be. Don't know what role they're going to play in the game whatsoever, but really excited to see them come to life eventually as well. Oh, and then of course we have the shipwrecks, but that doesn't really tell us anything whatsoever other than people who used to live in Orbis, used to have ships and probably did trade by ships, right? Probably met one another via ships. Probably was the only way to access Crucible in the way that it's currently set up as well, since it only exists on islands. But we do have the different variants for just the normal. We got the sand and we got the ice. And I believe it was Joan inside of the Discord who pointed out that the essences that you can find in the boats do seem to change depending on where they are. So when they're frozen, it seems to change into the ice essence, which does seem to kind of show a relationship between that and the water essence that's just dependent on temperature, where it changes depending on where it is. But before we wrap ourselves up, anything you think I missed? Any other ideas that you guys have? And anything that you guys want to have covered next week or that we should chat about next week? Because we do have some great ideas from you guys that we can touch on next. Walrus-like people have any connection to the ocean? I mean, definitely. But I think they're probably more coastal than they are actual ocean people. I would expect to see them in sort of like a... You know, they've got like fishing huts that are by the edge of the sea. They're like set up on the coasts, they fish out into the ocean, that sort of thing. I wouldn't expect to find them like in the underwater ruins that we have over here. And in fact, I don't think that there's anything that we currently find in the underwater ruins in terms of like people or NPCs. We just have like the fishes and the squids and the whales down there right now. The jellyfish. But there's no people yet. The pink tree is coral. There's a bunch of these. A ton of these. If we go look up coral, we have a bunch of different types. They're in there somewhere. But yes, there's a bunch of different colored trees. I did have a moment where I was like, oh, maybe, you know, purple coral. Different elemental colors associated with Hytale. There doesn't seem to be that much thought put into it just yet. It is absolutely gorgeous. I hope we get saplings as well. I would love just like more game progression in the ocean in general like that, right? Like you find some sort of way in order to reproduce the coral. You could start a coral reef of your own if you bring items back home and you have like, I don't know, a lake or a river nearby you. It's a second pink tree aside from the pink tree underground of Zone 4. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. There's part of me that wonders if there's like some sort of thematic material in terms of the bioluminescence that the game has. You know, like what colors glow in the dark? Is that like some sort of relationship to the crystals, right? Because those are crystal trees underground in Zone 4, so they got the crystals inside of them, so their leaves glow too. I don't think these do. They do not. No, our coral doesn't glow. Glowing coral would make a great addition, though. Can you imagine? That would be awesome. Because I really do think most of the plants that glow also do have, like, arcane abilities. Or, like, there's the different sets of plants that glow a specific color, like the yellow and the red and the blue that correspond to stamina and health and mana. And that's a really awesome way to guide players. And it'd be really cool if there were, like, pieces of the coral that had some sort of arcane applications as well. And that if you're underwater, like, different bits of them light up and guide you towards them so that you can collect them and actually use them. I think that would be an excellent addition, too. But yeah, I don't think the colors mean anything at the moment. I think it's completely arbitrary. But one day, fleshed out coral, fleshed out stuff to find, fleshed out skeletons, and hopefully some ruins that actually use these ocean aqua blocks as well. Actually, I want to check out the ocean before we dip, just to see if I've missed anything. I don't think I have, but I want to check out these because every once in a while there's like, you know, little symbols on them. Wait, what do we think this is? What do we think that? What do we? I haven't actually noticed that before. Do we have decorative? But they don't have any symbols up here. What is this? It looks very much like a bowl. I'm trying to think of like anything in the game that this could resemble, and I'm really coming up short. It looks like a Balrog, actually. I was just watching Lord of the Rings. I don't know, because this looks very wavy. This looks like seaweed or ocean stuff. Like, what in the ocean looks like that? Looks like Varen. Duh, there we go. It does look like Varen. Wait, let's bring up one of the void spawns. Oh, I can't believe that I was about to end without actually noticing this. Wait, that's not what it's under. It's under just void. Void spawn? Let's see you in your... You weren't supposed to do that. Come here. Come here. Let's freeze you. You're just gonna hold still right there. Look at the horns. I wish you would put your sword down, sir. So we could see properly. That's totally the same shape. Wait, we can get a better view if we bring in one of these guys. Freeze on spawn. There you go. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere at all. Oh my gosh. See, this is why we do these streams, because some of this stuff I would miss completely on my own. Some of this stuff I would miss. That totally looks like the shape of the, like, void spawn heads, the specter heads. I wonder what the story is there. Because these are the ocean blocks, right? So I would assume that these would be used either in the underwater ruins eventually, or in, like, coastal towns. If there's a civilization that clings to the coast, that would completely make sense. Interesting that it looks like they were close enough to Varen to actually represent him in their stonework. That's a commitment. That is a commitment. I wonder if that is more of the reason why they sank instead. Okay, well now I'm reconsidering this, because I was like, oh, the fact that the capital has purple in it is like completely coincidental. That's just like, oh, it looks cool because the blue and the purple, they're ocean-y colors, right? I wonder what that would imply. Well, let's walk through this for a second. If those blocks are going to be used for some sort of oceanic culture eventually, which seems likely, right? We got the ocean blocks, we got the aqua blocks. Then that culture would have a relationship with Varen. Presumably, if they're putting him in like a mosaic situation inside of their buildings, then they would be worshipping him as well. Historically, from what we've seen, the civilizations that engage with Varen don't tend to do all that well. I'm closer to believing Varen originates from water or water-related. Interesting. Tell me more. You know, I say they don't tend to do well, but the Outlanders are doing great. They're doing just fine, in fact. I think it would definitely play into the whole civilizations collapsing due to hubris. Oh, 100%. 100%. Zone 4 has the sewer. Zone 2 has the hidden oasis. Okay, I see what you're saying. So the places where the corruption is showing up are places that are watery. That's interesting. I hadn't really thought of that. I did find it odd, though, that, like, in Zone 2, the corruption is showing up in the oasis. Didn't really think much of it. Because in Zone 4, it's like, oh, it's hidden. It's in the underbelly of things, right? Just like how you find all this creepy stuff when you go into the whole temple dungeon that exists in Zone 3. And I was like, oh, so in Zone 2, why is it not in, like, some underground place, but instead it's in what you would think would be a safe haven? Let me throw another one. Zone 3, it's literal water cult. Oh, you got a good point there. You got a very good point. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, in Zone 3, the whole way that they mutate themselves and they imbue things with Varen's power is through water. So they have these, like, watery ritual pools. Exactly. The water pool ritual. And that's presumably how they mutate themselves. I mean, they've got the void crystals that seem to power the water, seems to carry the void power. Interesting. So then maybe if there was a civilization that lived in or near the water, then the way that Varen's power kind of seeps into the void pools, it could have seeped into this larger body of water and corrupted a whole people. That could be a fascinating story. Whatever the case, I think it does absolutely line up that yet another civilization seems to be involved with Varen, and some hubris led them to their own ruin, their own demise, as it seems to so often do. I just want to double check that there's nothing else that we're missing in here in terms of just, like, pieces. Wow, full ocean. Wait. Wait. This is called a full ocean. Don't be dramatic. This is called a full ocean block. Full ocean. See this? Wood village, wall ocean full. This is wood, so this has to be above ground. So, like, it's some, like, ocean side sort of civilization or island civilization. Now I'm thinking, like, the Minoans or the Cretians. If you know your antiquity history in our world, not in Orbis, but in our real world, people in the Mediterranean, theoretically, this is just as far as we figured, had to leave, had to dip, because of a volcanic explosion. Could be interesting, could be related. An oceanic civilization having to move or being ruined because of a nearby exploding volcano. They have pulled a lot from Greek lore, and that's adjacent to Greek history. So I could totally see that being the case. Okay. Now we're going to wrap it up for real. We're going to wrap it up for real. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a poll live at the same time. If you're watching this on Twitch, the video on YouTube comes out tomorrow just like it normally does. The poll will follow suit with a couple more options for what we can cover the following week. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. But in the meantime, happy hightailing. And I will see you guys soon. Thank you all for stopping by.